Welcome everyone, it's Dawn Duvall with Shall We Stamp, and I am coming to you pre-recorded as I am out of the country. Well, maybe not out of the country. I will be out of the country for 3 days, but then after that we'll be up in Alaska. So anyways, I wanted to take a few minutes. First, let me introduce myself. I'm Dawn Duvall. I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up. I've been doing this craziness for about 12 years. I live in Fort Myers, Florida, and I am here to help you learn how to create cards with less stress, knowing that it's okay to make mistakes. And we're going to make some fun fold cards. I typically do fun fold cards that are very easy using stamps, ink, and paper. However, today I am going to show you the Paper Pumpkin All-Inclusive Kit for July 2023, which is a beach-themed kit. I'm going to show you how to create the 3 of the cards. There's 3 cards, 3 of each, so it makes 9 cards. So I'm going to show you how to make the 3 cards, and then I'm going to do 3 alternative cards so that you can use those supplies for ways that the instructions don't say how to use them. So we're going to think outside the box. All right, so with that being said, let me flip the camera down. Let me first say, though, that as a Paper Pumpkin subscriber, I think these run about $24 a month. That does include shipping. You'll get your Paper Pumpkin. You need to sign up by the 10th of each month for the next month's kit. And they we don't normally know what we're getting, but they have started giving us a sneak peek about a week and a half to 2 weeks before. So I normally try to put that out on my blog, which is shallwestamp.com, or on my Facebook page. So if you're interested, I would highly encourage you to sign up for this. It's a monthly subscription, so you can buy 3, 6, and 12 month subscriptions. If you purchase a 6 or 12 month subscription, you do receive a discount off the pricing. You can start and stop them at any time. So if you go on a month-to-month basis and you don't want to receive a kit, then you can just go on and put it on hold, or you can stop it completely. The nice thing it does come with, and let me turn the camera down and I'll show you this particular month. Now they do change from month to month, so we have no idea what we're going to be getting. This one happens to be a beach theme, and what is included is all the supplies that you will receive to make these 3 cards. So you're going to get, and this is just one I've already torn apart, you'll get the card stocks. You get 3 of these. You're going to get different types of cutouts and punch outs that you're going to use, and it will also come with its own, you'll have coordinating envelopes. It will come with its own stamp set, and this is nice because you're going to get a different stamp set every month. You're also going to get a little ink spot, which is a miniature version. It's a small square that you'll get in the kit. Hang on, let me grab it so I can show you what it is. This particular month, it is Daffodil Delight. And the nice thing about these is that if you're traveling, or if you live in a place that you don't have a lot of storage space, these kits are perfect. So once you get done creating the cards, you'll have some supplies left over. You can keep it in the box. You can start storing all your ink spots in one particular box. You can put your stamps in another box. And if you are a Paper Pumpkin subscriber, they do offer the refill kit, which means you get all of the consumable products. You just don't get the ink or the stamp set. But again, you probably have ink at home that you can use, and you probably have a stamp set or some sentiments that you can use, so that's not that big of a deal. Now they also give us, in this case, we've got a roll of tear and tape. They've provided us with many glue dots, and then we also have some embellishments that we will add on to our cards as we want to. Okay, now with these, with the kit here is designed to make, these are fun folds, and I want to show you how you fold the card to get it to go, because it can be a little confusing. But typically what they do, normally it's not, but I think this one's a little confusing, at least for me it was. So they will show you, there's 3 cards, so card number 1, card number 2, and then card number 3. So it shows you, you also, I forgot to tell you, also are going to receive a clear block, and that block is the same size as our block D, and that allows you, let me see if I'll put it on here, that allows you the ability, can you see that, to use this block for all of the sets that come, all of the stamps and everything that come will fit this block, okay? It's a small block, but every time you order a kit, the first kit you receive, you will get a block, okay? So just keep that in mind, so you don't even have to worry about that. So what the instructions do is it shows you for each card what you need to do to put that card together. So for instance, this is the block, and it's telling you to put the Hello Sunshine stamp on here, and then you're going to ink it up with the yellow or the Daffodil Delight ink spot. And then you're going to find this card stock that looks like this card base. And then it's showing you how it's going to be a fun fold, like kind of like a tent, but it's got two sides, and how it's going to look once you fold it up. And then it shows you where to put your tear and tape, your adhesive, and then the piece that you're going to be adding. And then down here it's going to show you another area of where you're going to add your palm trees and your sentiment. And these little dots here mean the small dots are the mini dimensionals. Now this one doesn't have mini glue dots. Typically they also send dimensionals. The dimensional will be a circle, a bigger circle that's doesn't have anything on the inside, so you'll know that that's a dimensional rather than a mini glue dot. And then here is where it tells you where you should be putting your tear and tape and how everything should be put together if you choose to do it their way. So we're going to do that on each of the 3 cards, and then I'm going to do 3 extra cards that will show you what we can do to think outside the box. So this is what the contents for each card that will go into each set, okay? So you'll see this is everything that will go into here, and then everything that goes into here, and then everything that will go into this card here. And then it gives you, we're going to put some starfish and a little seashell and so on. Some sunglasses, some flip-flops. We've got a chair right here, and then all of that, and a crab, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to just grab the first one. Now this is the one that has a boat. And this is what the actual base of the card looks like. And it's got on here, which you probably can't see, but it does have score lines of how you are to fold. Now in this particular box kit, and I think they do for all of the kits, on the back of the directions, it also gives you a list of the supplies. It gives you the color coordinating inks that coordinate from Stampin' Up. If you want to see how to put the card together, then you can just scan the QR code right here and go to Paper Pumpkin. It takes you right to that site. And then here are 3 separate alternative cards that they have given suggestions for. So we're going to use one of these, and then we've got 2 others that we'll make, okay? So just want to make sure that you're aware that if you have questions, you can go on to the Paper Pumpkin page, and you should be able to find some help there. If you decide you'd like to join up, I'll have a link below in the video, and you can join through my online store, and then you'll be good to go. Okay, so here is our, you know, the side step cards that you're used to seeing, right? So here is, see how it folds, and then this one moves up, and then these are going to fold down. See that? All right, so there's a score line here. So we're going to fold this down. All right, so we're going to fold that down. And then we're going to fold this one is going to go up. This one's going to go down. That one's going to go up. Hang on a minute. This one's going to go down. See, you got to practice with this. All right, so we're going to go like that. All right, so that one's going to go down. This one's going to go down, valley. Then we're going to make a mountain here. And it's a little confusing, so I just bear with me. And then that one's going to go like that. So it should be, because this is going to be our stand, right? How it's going to stand up. And then this here. So we're going to, our card is going to look, let me show you what it's going to look like. So this is what it's going to look like once we get done. So you see how I've got the opening here. See how it's got the side step. So you're going to go down, come up, go down to the valley, come up to the mountain, go down to the valley. So this piece is right here. Okay, so that piece is going to go on the back. And what you want to do is I would line this up right about the tip. Now I'm going to show you what I would do as far as with the adhesive, because you want it to be in line with this right here. So when the card closes, then our horizon is going to be right in line, okay? And then the next thing, we're going to take this piece with our ship or our boat, and that's going to go right about here. And this one will typically be almost towards the bottom of that step. I'm going to call it a step. And then this one will, then that's where we'll adhere this and then do our sentiment. So it's really easy once you get familiar enough with how to fold the step card, okay? So again, we want this one to go up. So that's going to be our first step. That's going to go down. Then this one has to come up. This one's going to go down. And then this one's going to fold up. Okay, so once we get it like that, I'm going to move this one out of the way. Then we're going to take our bone folder, and we want to give everything a good crease, right? So come underneath, and you can crease all of these lines, and then come back in this way, and you can crease on the inside right here and right here. And then, of course, we want to do this one as well. So once we get it to stand correctly, then that's how it's going to look, okay? All right, so now we can go ahead and add our pieces like the instructions tell us. So the first thing we want to do is we want to add this piece to on the further back one, okay? So on this one right here, the tallest one, we want to add this here. But what we want to do is we want to make sure before we adhere it, we want to have it to where it's, when it's closed, our horizon is exactly in line. Let me move this over just a little bit. All right, so that tells me it's going to be not quite to the bottom when we glue this down. So here's my recommendation. We're going to take the tear and tape that they provided, and I've got a piece right here that I tore off that I didn't use. So we're going to place this right towards the top of the back of this piece right here, okay? So we want to do that. Then I'm going to turn this over and put a piece right down the back of this. That way when we're ready to place it, we'll have the adhesive all lined up, and you get it in position, and then you will be good to go. So we're going to go ahead and I'm just going to tear that off. All right, so I'm going to look at this again before I take my adhesive off. My board keeps slipping around. All right, so I know that I'm going to hold this, that I have to be right above that score line, and I want to make sure my edges are lined up. So that looks pretty close. All right, so now I can go ahead and remove, and I'm going to use my take your pick tool. So I'm going to remove the backing from my tear and tape. And again, this is what comes in the package. And you just have to get a little, get it going, and then you can grab it with your thumb or finger or whatever, okay? And then we'll do the same thing on the back of this. So now this is what we're calling the regular card. This is what comes in the kit, and this is how the kit's supposed to be done. So I'm going to place this right here. I'm putting my thumb right here to keep it on edge, and I'm putting it slightly above that score line, or where we folded it. So it's slightly above that. And then I'm going to push down, and then as you can see, my horizon looks like it's pretty much in place. All right, and then once you get that done, then it's easy as cake, right? So the next thing we want to do is we want to add our ship. So we're going to put our ship on the inside. So we don't want to put it next to this panel. We want to put it looking from the front. We've got this piece here, right? So this is one. We want to go back to this one. So we want it into the front of that card. So if I lay it down and keep it even with my sides of the card, it should be perfect, okay? Now, if you want it a little bit higher, then you just bring it up a little bit from the fold line. And we're going to do the same thing on this one, actually. All we're going to do is put a piece of tear and tape on the back of the card, and then we'll tear that off, and then that's going to get adhered right there. Okay, so let's go ahead and remove that. And these cards are really fun. And if you've got children or grandchildren, these, or even adults, I mean, this is a lot of fun. And especially if you're just starting out, the paper pumpkin kits are really quite easy to use. Now this one, I would say, it's a little stepped up, but for the most part, it is pretty easy. So again, I'm just going to lay this in here, get it right above my fold line, and I'm going to press that down, and then that should give me a nice fold. Everything's flat, and my ship is right outside of the sun, okay? All right, and then from there, we're going to pop out these two little pieces that come when you pop this out of your kit. It's got these two little white pieces of cardstock or paper there. So we're just going to pop those out because we don't need those. But it's a great thing if you have friends that come over and you want to do some crafting. It's a great way to introduce this to other folks, and it's a lot of fun putting these things together. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to add our palm tree. So we're going to place him right down here, and we're just going to put, now I'm going to do something that they did not include. I'm going to put a dimensional on the back of my palm tree, okay? And then I want it to kind of stand out just a little bit. And we're going to put him right here. So we're going to put some dimensionals. Now, I'm sorry, the glue dots. I don't mean to say dimensionals. So if you're using the kit, then you want to place your why I call them dimensionals. Just take your glue dots and pull the backing off, right? So you'll have these little pieces of paper. I'm going to use my seal just because it's a little bit easier and quicker for me to do that. All right, but this is what your glue dots, your mini glue dots are for. All right, so now we're ready, and I haven't taken the back off my dimensional yet. So I'm just going to lay this right to the edge of the bottom and the side and the corner of my card. All right, so we're going to do that, get it on there and push it down. That's going to hold it in place. And then I'm just going to take the backing off my dimensional. Now you don't have to do this because the dimensionals don't come in the kit, but I just wanted to have it popped up just a little bit just to give it, a little bit more realistic look. All right, so there's that. And then the next thing that we want to do is we're going to take our sentiment and we're going to use our Daffodil Delight. And again, I'm using my large version, and I've got this, it says Sending an Ocean of Love, which is what we're going to stamp. And they have 4 of these banners, and with the like the red or like a pink tint, and then they've got 4 others with, I think it's just black. So I'm going to put that on there. All right, and that's done. We'll close that up, and then we'll go ahead and attach our sentiment. And again, we would use our glue dots, but I'm using my seal just because it's a little bit easier. Otherwise, you might see me sitting here trying to pick those things apart. All right, so we're going to place this right about here. And I'm going to get this in, actually, I don't want this under. Let me put this right here. I'm going to tuck this under my little thing here so I can get it on. There we go. I don't want it hanging off the edge. I stuck to my finger. And these are sticky. All right, well, no, it's not. I just stuck stuff on it. Okay, so there's that. Now we're going to add, and I will use our mini glue dot. And I'm going to put that on the starfish. So we'll place that right there. All right, and we're going to put him right over in this section because it looks like he's he's lonely. All right, so we're just going to put him right about there. All right, and then we'll take some of our embellishments that they have provided, and we'll just pop a couple of these on. These are like little white clear glass looking things. So I'm going to put one right here. I'll put one right about over here in this area, and let's see. Let's put one right down here by the starfish. We'll put that there. All right, so there is our card. Now, if you wanted to write, you could write in here. I don't know if it was me and I got the card, I don't think I would look here, but they may, or you can write on the back, whichever is perfect, whichever you prefer. All right, so there's card number 1, the way that the kit says it should be put together. All right, so now we're going to move on to the next card, which is our surfing card, and we have a crab, surfboards, and some more palm trees. Okay, so we're going to fold again. So we're going to fold here on this line, and then of course we're going to go down for the valley. And this is why it's important that you use your bone folder once you get all of these folded. Come up for the mountain, and then down for the valley, and then this one is going to fold right about there. Okay, and then this one we're going to fold over here, and once we flatten this, then we can go in and give it a good burnish, and we'll do it here, and then underneath for the others, and then I'm going to flip it over and do it on the inside pieces again, just to help them stay flat and keep the card standing. See how much better that looks? And that's, okay, so this is what our base is gonna look like right here. Okie doke, so the pieces that we have our sun and our palm tree, which is gonna go on that back flap again. And then we're gonna put our surfboards right down here. And then we've got a message with a crab that's holding up the message. And we're gonna put him, oh, I'm missing a piece, hang on. Where'd my other piece go? Hold on. It's gotta be over here. Oh, I put it over here, my mistake. Okay, and then this is another piece that we took off from, and this is like a shadow. I'm not quite sure. I think it's for the lawn chair, but I'm going to use it right here because it kind of goes with that. So I'm going to lay that in there. When it is folded flat, then we'll have that hopefully pretty even. So we'll start with our sun and our palm trees. So we want to put, again, we're going to put some tear tape right at the top of our back piece of the card. And we'll just tear that there. And then we'll flip that over and put some at the bottom. So that way it's nice and adhered. And I'm just going to go ahead and cut this. Sometimes it's a little bit easier. So again, before I lay this on here, right, I want to put this in and see how far down. All right, so that's even. So let me hold this. And again, I just need to come up, if it's straight, probably like a 1/16 of an inch. So it's not going to be much. Bring it down. So it's going to bring, yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and peel this off. And you know, if you don't get it exact, it's not any big deal because honestly, when you get all the other stuff added to it, no one's going to be able to see it anyways if it matches up. It's only if the card's closed, but once you send it off, it's not going to matter, right? Because by the time they open it, they're probably going to have it sitting up on the table or their desk or whatever. I don't know why I have, there we go. All right, so let's take this guy, and I've got the glue on the bottom. So let's put this in here, and I'm gonna put my finger on the back of it because I don't want it, I'm gonna push it towards the front because I don't want it to adhere yet until I get it exactly where I think it needs to go. So I'm thinking right about, probably right about there, and I'm gonna make sure it's flat, there we go. And we'll close it up, yep, pretty good. All right, so that's down there. All right, then the next thing we're gonna do is we're going to add this piece, and this is very close to the edge of that. So I'm going to hold this down, and I want to see where this is laying. So I'm going to lift my finger up, and it's going to be right on the edge. So I'm just going to put a little bit of tear tape at the bottom, and so we're just going to do a little bit right here. All right, and we'll tear that off. And then when I put this down, we're going to have that sitting right here, probably right where that blue is. And let's make sure. So I'm going to hold it there. And when we close it, yeah, I can bring it down just a little bit. Okay. All right, so we'll put that on here. And then we're going to add we're going to stamp another sentiment. And then we're going to add our crab. And our crab is going to be holding the sign. So let's do this. Let's lay this here. And we want to get this right about, yeah, I think it's going to be right below that blue line. So I'm going to bring this down right about here, and I'm not going to press it. I'm just going to let it hold it for just a second, and I think that's going to be good. So I'm going to lay that down, push it. Yep, I think that's good. All right, so we've got that down. Now we're going to add our surfboards, and everything has already been stamped and everything, right? So we're going to add that, and then we'll do our sentiment and our crab. So this one, all we need to do is put some adhesive on the bottom. So again, I'm just going to use my seal. All right, so, you know, again, you'll be using your tear and tape unless you actually have your own supplies of adhesive at home. Okay, so we're going to put that right there. And then I want this to kind of pop out a little bit. So again, I'm going to put a dimensional back on the one, excuse me. Just so that it kind of stands out. All right, that way it doesn't look quite so flat. All right, and I just put it on the yellow one. Okay, all right, so there we are so far. Now we're going to stamp the sentiment on here, and this sentiment says, "Hello Sunshine." So let me grab that one right here. And I know the only thing The yellow, using the daffodil, it's really light, so you can hardly see it. So I would probably use a different color. But since we're doing it as the kit says, then we're going to do exactly what the kit says, right? And I need a block, so let me just grab this block right here. And we'll put that on. Nope, see, I don't like it being straight because then it makes me nervous. I always put it on crooked. Okay, so we're going to ink this up. I try to stay in the camera, you guys. All right, so this is the smaller one. And we'll just line that up right about there. Hopefully it's right. And we'll let that sit for a second because we are using the photopolymer. And yep, we're good. It says, hello, sunshine. All right. Now, the last thing that we need to do, this little crab's claws open up. Look at that. Isn't that cute? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a little glue dot on the inside of each of his claws. And he's going to hold that, he's going to hold the sign. So I'm going to pull one and put it on the I'm using the outside of the claw. Okay, so that one's going to be, so I can see the claw when we open the card. So I'm going to put that right there. And then I'll put another glue dot on this one as well. So we'll just take those little things off. And take those little things off. They're so daggone tiny, you know, they're hard to even, you know, get these little things off, and then you got them running all over the house. So we are going to do that, and then we're going to place his, I'm trying to think of how I did this. Hang on a second. Let me see how I glued him down. Whoops, where's my, oh, I glued the crab down. Okay. All right, so we're going to put the claw, and we'll put him right in here. So I'm going to put it right through there so it looks like the claw is holding him. And then the glue dot's going to help hold it in place, right? So let's get this one opened. All right, so we're going to do that. And try to get it down just a little bit. Centered, okay. There we go. All right, I'm going to put just a little bit of adhesive right here. And then then he's going to go right over this section right here. And then what I'm going to do is have his eyes, so if we close this thing, right, we're going to have him where he's like hardly peeking out, so when the card's closed, you're barely seeing the crab's eyeballs. See right there? So I think we'll just bring it up just a notch, and we'll close it. And then there's how that stamp, how this card should look like. And then we have the coordinating envelope, so see when you mail this out, here's the envelope, and there is our card. Isn't that beautiful? So there you go. There's the other one. All right, so now we have one more regular kit card, I'm calling it. So we've got that one done. Now the next one we're going to do is we're going to use our beach umbrella and our Adirondack chair. So here is our card base. And again, we're going to start doing the same thing. We're going to fold on the bottom line and make a mountain. And then I'm just going to bring in and fold the next one into a valley. And this is where, again, like I said, it's a little crazy, but you just have to manipulate it. All right, so we're going to do a valley there, come back and make a mountain, because the mountains are up, valleys are down, right? And do that right there. And that should have it. And then this one, of course, we want to fold. And then this one, we want to fold. So if we have this right, when we fold it down, right, everything should be folded. Except for I don't have this one folded right here. There we go. And this one has to fold, helps if I fold the back of the card, right? Okay, so there's our step card. All right, so let's come in, fold folder. Go ahead and give it everything a good crease. We're gonna flip it over, and we wanna do it again on this side and this side underneath. All right, so there's our step card, and as you can see. All right, so see how the step is? So now we've got our piece right here, which is the beach and the sand, and our water with two birds. That's going to go on the back again. So if we bring this up a little bit, right above the bottom fold, then that's going to line up perfectly. So we're going to do exactly what we did before with our tear and tape. So we'll take a piece and place it right back here. And, whoops, get my finger off. So pair it back there. All right, and then we're going to put a piece on the bottom of this because that's the back. So we're going to put that on the bottom of the back. All right. Okay. All right, so again, I'm pretty confident. I just need to push this in just slightly above the fold, and that brings it right up, so we're good. All right, so let's take our backing off and get that out of here. And then we'll do this one. Now don't go anywhere because we got three more cards that we're gonna make that are alternative cards, okay? All right, so we're gonna lay this one in here. I'm gonna not set it down yet until I know, excuse me, because I gotta get in here to see. I'm gonna lay that right above and make sure it's even on both sides and push it down. All right, and there we go with that one. Okay, so again, we've got our step card. Now we're gonna start building this one. So this one, we're gonna put an Adirondack chair. We're gonna put some umbrella and some beach balls, some flip-flops and sunglasses and a little sign. Now there are some pieces in the kit that I thought I pulled out. Maybe it's in the other one. That it's little squares. I'm just gonna stamp on here, but if you make a mistake, there's little white squares that fit this that you can stamp and then you'll cover it up. So you don't have to worry about that. So we have this on there. So the next thing we want to do is we want to put our chair, and I'm looking at, I think it goes like this. Okay, so this is our back part, right? So we're going to put our chair right about here. And I'm wondering, you could put it here, but I think it's supposed to go here. And then, so what I'm going to do, now I'm looking at where my seat is, okay, and where my legs are going to be. But I want to see where what it's going to look like when we close the card. So I think what I'm going to do, I think that looks good. I'm going to place glue dots, but I'm going to set it right where the seat portion, just before the back. I'm going to place it just like that on this next mountain top, right? And I'm going to use the mini glue dots, and I'm just going to place them right here. I'm going to put 3 here. I'm not going to put them anywhere else because that's going to be open. And I may put one on the leg. You know what? I don't think I'm going to do that because that's going to stick out and it might stick to something else. So forget that. Let's just do it on the back side, what the seat is. All right, so let's take these off and get that off. And get this one off. Okay. All right, so again, I'm going to come down here. I just want my seat barely down, and I'm going to put it right about like that. Okay, and I'm just going to push down on those dimensionals. And then I got a pair of flip-flops. I think we're going to put the flip-flops. I think I'm going to set those right there by the chair, or maybe I should let's do it on this side. That'd be fun. So I'm going to put, I'll put just a little bit of adhesive. I'm not going to put much. Right there. I'm going to put it at the bottom because again the tops might be sitting up. I'm just going to set these off to the side like that. So we've got his flip-flops on the side. All right, so you're not going to see those. Actually, let me move that over because it's hanging off the side. We don't want to do that or we won't be able to get our card closed. So let's put it like kind of off the chair. There we go. So we'll put our flip-flops there. All right, now we're going to add our adhesive because our pail of beach balls and our umbrella is going to go right here, and see how they've got the sand going up. So again, I'm just going to put my adhesive, or you use your glue dots, right on the edge. All right, and we'll place that right down here, and I want to get it right to the edge of the card. And so let me know if any of you have the subscription to the Paper Pumpkin. And how do you like that? Okay, so here is, I got that off just a little bit. Let me see if I can pull this off. Let me see. If I can without messing it up. You know what? I think I'm just going to leave it. I'm afraid if I pull it up because I use the seal. That's okay. All right, so now I have my sunglasses, which I'm going to place. Oh, I got my sign too. Oh, here's my sign. I almost forgot my sign. All right, I'm going to put my sunglasses. I think I'm going to lay these maybe at an angle. And we'll put 2 little glue dots on these as well. So let's just pop that up. We'll put one on each back side of the glass. All right, and then we'll pull those off. All right, so let's put these kind of at an angle, just like that. And then here's our sign. Now this one, we're going to stamp it that says, relax, you deserve it. And I think I'm going to do, I guess we'll stick with the yellow. All right, so our Daffodil Delight. So we want to get that that says relax. And this is our sign. And again, if you mess that up, there's little pieces in the kit that you can use, and you can just restamp it and cover it up. All right, so let's move some of this out of the way. All right, and then this one, I'm going to use my seal again. I'm just going to put a little bit of adhesive on each end. And then we're going to take and add our sign to the end on this side of the card. And I'm going to go back and, actually I need to put a little bit of adhesive there. So I'm going to put some, let me put a glue dot. I didn't put any adhesive, but this is popping up. So let's lay one down. Hang on a second. Get him to lay down here, just so that holds it down. Hang on. These old backings are so daggone small, it's crazy. Okay, that helps. All right, and I'm going to trim that little piece off. Now, this will go right here. So we're going to lay that right to the edge of our card, our sign right here, like he's in the beach. All right, and what else? Okay, and the next thing, do we want to put, see, we can add, if you want, we can add some of these little embellishments. So we could put some like right here. See how they've got the white that look like sand? So we can put those on there to make it look like there's some sand. Put one there, and let's just put one right there in that pile. All right, so there is our third and final card. That is how the box is supposed to look like, okay? So there's that one. There's this one. And then here is, which one are we looking for? Oh, we need the palm trees and the boat. And then here is the boat, okay? So those are the three that the cards are supposed to look like, all right? So there you go. Now, we're going to do something a little on the different side. So let's put those over there out of the way, right? And now we're going to make, we're just going to use a few. We're going to use the supplies, but we're going to make our own card base. So you'll just need a few of your own supplies, no big deal. If you're a paper crafter or a scrapbooker, you're going to have all that stuff on hand. And that's another thing that you can do with this kit. If you're a scrapbooker, this is a perfect thing that you can use to create a scene for your scrapbook page. So if you happen to be on holiday and you go to the beach or go somewhere where it's warm, you can create a scrapbook page, you know. So it's just got all sorts of possibilities. Okay, here we go. We're going to make, we'll take our first card, and I am going to use Daffodil Delight. Now I'm taking, let me show you. This is what I'm using from the kit. We're going to use the starfish, the sailboat, that piece that had the sand, water, and the birds, and then a palm tree. Now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my paper, oops, ooh, tore my little palm tree. So we're going to bring in our paper trimmer because I want to trim this piece here. Let me move these out of the way so we don't lose them. Okay, so we'll set them over there. I'm going to trim right around the water line. So I'm going to trim this. Oh my gosh, I wish I could see my picture. The water line. I'm going to come below the water line, trim that off. So we're going to use this. And then this piece, I'm going to trim 1 inch from the bottom. This down by 1 inch. Okay, this is the sand. So we're going to trim that down. I use the one on the right hand side because it's a little bit easier and then you can hold it. All right, so whoops, and it just slid. Hold on. All right, so we're going to cut 1 inch off of that. Okay. All right, so now we're going to, oopsie, put these 3 here. And we're going to come in, and I've cut a piece of basic white at 4 1/4 by 11. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this in and score this at 5 1/2. Okay, and we're going to fold that. Let me move this out of the way. All right, so we're going to fold that. Make sure my sides, isn't it funny how one side I fold it, it doesn't even out, but this way it does. So I'm going to bring my bone folder in and give that a good crease. Now our card base is going to be cut at 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So this will get attached to this. It should be cut at 3 3/4 by 11. So let's cut it down to 3 3/4. And it's starting to get a little dark outside and thunder, so if you hear that. Okay, so we'll cut this one and then we'll cut the other ones down. Okay, let's get back to what we were doing here. All right, so this will be 3 3/4 on top of our 4 1/2 by 5 1/2, and then this piece is 3 1/2 by 5 1/2. So that's how it's going to work. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to decorate this piece right here. This is our Daffodil Delight. This is 3 1/2 by 5 1/2. We're going to start with this, and we're going to take our piece of water with our clouds, if you will, and we're going to place it maybe about a third of the way down. So I'm going to place that there. I'm not going to glue it down yet because I want to get everything placed. And then I'm going to put my boat about like that. I think I'm going to pull it down just a little bit. All right, and then from there, we'll do, let's do this one. Actually, this one's got the white on it. Okay, so we'll come up and put this right about there. I want to measure, not measure, but I want to look at this before I glue it down. All right, and then this 1 inch piece that we took off, we're going to use that for something else. We're going to use this piece here. This is going to go under just a little bit so you don't see the white. And we're going to leave a little bit, or the yellow I should say. So that's going to go there, right on top. And this one's going to go right, I'm going to bring that yellow right underneath so all we see is the sand. All right, so that's going to go like that, okay? And then we're going to add our palm tree and our stuff. But before we do that, we're going to take our starfish stamp, and we're going to stamp in Versamark, and we're going to stamp some starfishes in the bottom left corner and the bottom of the top right corner. And what the idea is to give the effect that it looks like they're going up the page, but we're not going to stamp the entire page, okay? So we're going to bring in our Versamark ink, and this is the clear tone-on-tone ink. So we're just going to take and just start here, and we're just going to ink some starfish, kind of to make it look like they're going up to the next corner. And I'm just going to do a few because this is going to be covered up, right? So we'll just do a couple right here, and then we're going to turn it around. So what it's going to look like, it's going to look like they're going up that way. So I'm going to stamp this, and we're just going to do a couple more of these. So I'm just trying to do it like one on each side, and it will start getting a little bit darker. I probably need to re-ink I don't know when the last time was that I inked this. And we'll put one right there. Okay. So as you can see, let me put one right there. So by the time we cover this, you're just going to have a little bit color. If you can see that color right there, you're just going to have a little bit of the stars coming through. So again, we're going to go ahead and we'll go ahead and get everything put down. So I'm going to bring this down to about here, and then I'm going to add my ship. So I'm going to lay that right about there. Actually, I could trim my card. It's a little bit off. So I'm going to trim this about, just give me 1 second. I just want to trim this side about maybe a 1/16 of that. I'm just going to put it right enough in the trimmer that I can trim off a tiny strip. And hopefully that will make it look more even without having that. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and get our clouds and our water. Put our boat in there. And then we're going to bring in our piece right here and get everybody straight, and then that's going to go right about, I'm going to just tuck under that one little piece that has yellow. We'll put that right about there, okay? And then we'll add our palm tree. What do you think? All right, so that's what we're going to do. So let's go ahead and glue this down, and again, you can use your glue dots. I'm going to use my seal, Oh, here, I told you I wrote it down. Cut above the water line and 1 inch from the bottom. I knew I had it on here somewhere. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of adhesive on this. And again, I want to get it probably about 1/3 of the way down. And so we'll do that. Okay. And then we'll do the same thing here. Again, using my seal. And we'll place that right about here. And then this piece we're going to tuck right under here. So we'll just put another strip on that. And then I'm going to turn it sideways so I can see. I've got it lifted up just enough that I just want to get the little bit of that yellow that I did not cut off. I just want him under here. And so all we see is the sand. And I think that should be good right about like that. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add our palm tree. So we're going to put him right here. And then we're going to add our starfish. So let's go ahead and glue him down. Actually, I think I'm going to move it over just a little bit, and then I'll trim this little piece off because I don't want, there we go, that's fine. I just don't want this to be covering the boat. And then I didn't put any adhesive there, so we'll just put a, hang on a second, let me get my dimensionals. We'll place one on the palm tree. We'll have it popped up so it doesn't look so flat. All right, that will look nice. Okay, so we got there, that looks much better. And I'm going to cut that little piece off, so let me flip this over. And that way he's not completely covering our boat. Okay, so there's that. I probably should have moved this up a little bit more so we could see our starfish down here, but it's okay. All right, now I'm going to do a little bit of heat embossing. We are going to stamp a sentiment that says sending sunshine. Now the stamp says sending sunshine to, as in T-O, but we just cut that off. It's not a big deal. So we're going to do some Versamark, and we're going to put white embossing powder on here. Now, if you don't have the embossing buddy tray, you definitely want to have this. So we're going to take our embossing buddy and move all my supplies out of there. We're going to emboss. We're going to put some powder on the edge here where I'm going to do my stamping. And that's just to keep the adhesive, you know, the powder from sticking to everything, all right? And let me put him back in his little place. And then I keep my embossing powders in this little container or different containers. But I like to keep it in here when I go to lift it out. That way, if anything spills, it goes in here. So I'm going to go ahead and ink this up with our Versamark. Get it nice and inky. See, I can already feel the powder from the embossing buddy. And I'm going to stamp this right here. All right. And then since this is so long, I'm just going to stick this in here and get the white on it. And if you're not sure, I always put it in a second time just to make sure it gets covered really well. All right. And just tap it off. Okay. And then we're going to heat emboss. So give me just a minute. I'm going to close this up or we'll have powder and white embossing powder all over the place. Oops, sorry for the loud noise. All right, so let's move that out of the way. And then we're going to bring in, I'm going to turn on my thing. It's going to be a little loud. I want to get it heated up. And then we're just going to heat emboss this real quick. And blow off some of the air. All right, so we're just going to emboss it. Just hold your hold your embossing towards it, and you'll start to see once it gets to a certain heat, then it's going to start to melt. Let me get up here where you can see. And sometimes it helps if you do it on the bottom. And once you get it angled, you'll start to see it melt. And there it goes. See how it's turning? You just want to make sure you get it all done, but don't overdo it. All right? So that's all we needed to do right there. And we've got some of the powder there, which is fine. Let me get my brush out and see if we can wipe a little bit of that off. We might have some of the speckles here from the powder shifting a little bit, but that's okay. I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, so now I'm going to cut off the 2. So I'm just going to leave Sending Sunshine. All right, and that's what, now I need to trim this side because this one's a little, we have a little bit more here. So I'll trim it here. And then I'm going to try to trim this without totally wonking it out. Let's see. All right, so that's what we're going to do. So we're going to apply that to our card, and I'll bring that in, and we're just going to add, we'll put some, the glue dots on here since we have such a small piece. Let me get, hang on a second. Let me move my brush out of the way. All right, so let's put some glue dots or your adhesive, whatever you have, right there. And we'll just do 2. I don't think we need much more than that. And peel those backings off. And then we're going to go ahead and place this right on this edge right here. Sending Sunshine. We'll push that down. And then we have our starfish. So we're going to put that on here. We'll use a glue dot again. All right. And okay. And we'll put this, let's see, let's put it right about here on the, off the tree. Put them right there. All right, so there's that. Now all we have to do is add this to the front of our white, and then we'll add that to our, and this should be even. I don't think we should, yeah, this should be even. I can see I got this a little bit crooked, but you know what? Whoever looks at this is not going to be concerned about that. And you guys know me, I don't worry about that stuff. It's handmade, so that gives us permission to have a few little boo-boos. It's okay. Okay, so let's get that on here. And I'm going to lay this down. We're going to have a little bit of the white showing on each side because we did cut this at 3.5, and this is the white's at 3 3/4. So I'm just going to pull it up just a little bit, slide it over so it looks more like it's even. We're going to lay that right on there. Let me just do it this way. Let's do it this way. Let's get that right to the top. I think that looks good. There we go. All right, so we're Sending Sunshine. Of course, now look at, I didn't put enough embossing buddy on that, so I do have a little bit, sorry, I do have a little bit of the white embossing powder, but it's flecks, it's little flecky things, it's okay. All right, so there's our card, and then we open it up, and then we can stamp a sentiment inside, whatever you want to put in there. How about if we stamp Wish You Were Here? And we could stamp that. And let's grab a block real quick. Or we can just leave it the way it is and you can write. Let's put Wish You Were Here. And they're going to feel really, you know. All right, let's bring in our, we're going to use black. And I'm going to stamp off. I don't want to use the yellow. All right, so let's just do a little bit of the Memento black. I'm going to stamp it off. And then I'm going to put right here, Wish You Were Here. And there is our first alternative card that you can make using the contents of this kit. All right, so let's move on. We got 2 more, and it shouldn't take that long, so just bear with me. All right, so there's card number 1. And the next one we're going to use some Melon Mambo with our white. And again, I'm going to have to trim this down because I cut these at 4 1/4. I wasn't thinking. And don't forget now, with this, here's our envelope that's going to get mailed in. Okay, so we're going to leave that there. All right, so we're going to bring the contents out for this one. All right, let me cut this down real quick. 3 3/4 is our white by 11. So 3 3/4 by 11. We'll keep those white strips because those are good for sentiments. Pull this in, score it at 5 1/2 since we've got the trimmer out. Okay, now these should go pretty fast. All right, this is our card envelope that we're going to use. All right, we want to fold our card in half. Make sure it's even. Give it a good burnish. And good thing we're going to cover that up because I got nail polish on it. Got about to lose my little shell there. All right, we're going to leave it there. That way we can cover. All right, and the same thing. We've got a 5 1/2 by 4 1/2 for the bottom. And then this piece is 3 1/2 by 5 1/2. So it's going to give us just a little bit of the white. Let's confirm that this is 3 1/2. Sometimes I get, yep, 3 1/2. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start working on this one. Now this one, we're going to use the palm tree one. We're going to set that right, isn't that gorgeous? We're going to set that right there. And then we've got our blue for the water. Now that piece that we cut off, which was sand, we're going to add this right here at the bottom. And then what we'll do, and I'm thinking I'm going to tuck it under just a little bit so it doesn't look like it's sticking out. And then we're going to add our sign. It's going to say whatever we want to put on the sign, right? So we can say relax, wishing you were here, whatever. Maybe we'll put relax. And then there's the piece that I was talking about. It comes with this little square. So we'll stamp on that and then we'll glue that on top of here. But you can do either way, whichever works for you. So this, again, this is pretty easy. I didn't add any bling bling to the last one. Oh, and then we have our little shell. So we're going to put him down by the sign. All right, so I'm just going to leave this slightly at the top, and we're going to do the same thing with the stars. All right, and then I think what I'm going to do, because it's, again, it's off just based on these, I'm going to trim this just a hair so that everything is even to what we're gluing down, okay? All right, so the first thing we're going to do is let's bring in our Versamark again, and let's get our starfish, and we're going to stamp him. So let's see if we can do this a little bit better and we have more standing out. Get this in the thing. All right, so again, we're going to stamp our starfish, and I'm just going to do, just going up at an angle so that if it's not being hidden, it will be seen. So we want to do one there, and then one on each side. Get some adhesive on here. All right, and then we're going to do another and another one in here. That one's didn't get enough. I think I need to re-ink this little guy. I'll put one off to the side there and one there. Let's do the same here. Let's give it a little bit more so that they pop. I love this. Look at how beautiful that looks, you know. When you add this, how it darkens the color of the, looks like the ink. Isn't that cool? All right, so we're going to put that off to the side. And then let's start building our card. So again, we're just going to lay that right there. You've got our stars showing. We're going to add our sand. And so we still have a little bit of the starfish. And you could have had them going down on the side if you wanted. Whatever works for you. Let's use our Tombow. That way we can move this as we need to get it in position. All right, so let's do that right about there. And then I'm going to have this lifted up just enough that I can slide this little guy underneath. So it's fun. Isn't it fun when you take the boxes and you use them for things that you don't think they're supposed to, you know, you just use it for something outside of the box. So it's a nice way to try to use your creativity and use the kits in the kit, the contents of the kit to help you do that. And it really does. Plus, it also extends how many cards that you're going to get out of the kit. Instead of 9, you know, you can get as many as you want, how often, you know, depending on what you use. Even if you just use a few of the pieces or the stamp set. All right, so we got that. So isn't that pretty? Now we're going to stamp our sentiment, and I think we're going to do the relax again. You deserve it, and we'll do that in Memento Black. Since our palm trees are in black here, we're going to stick with that same black thing, and I'm going to stamp it on that little square that comes with this. That way, if you make a boo-boo, you can flip it over. All right, so that's good. Now, we're going to put just a little bit of adhesive on the back of this and attach it to our sign. Okay, and we're going to place that right about there. And then we can also, all right, let's go ahead and add our sign, and then we'll add some embellishments to this as soon as I can locate what I did with them. I pushed them off. Oh, wait a minute. I pushed, here they are. They're blending in with everything else. All right, so we'll add some of that. Okay, so let's go ahead and put adhesive on here. And we're going to put our, let's put our sign like right in the middle, right? Let's do that. Let's put it right here in the center. And we're going to glue that down. And we can glue this. Yeah, I think we'll leave it flat. So let me just put, since I didn't put any adhesive on it, we don't want to pop that up. Let me go ahead and put a dimensional underneath. We'll put, I mean, not a dimensional, I'm sorry, glue dot. We'll just put one there, and we'll put one on this side. And we pull the backs off. He's been tilting. He's been blowing in the wind. All right, and then we have this little seashell. So we're going to add that. And we'll add him. And then we've got one more card. And we're going to put that little shell right about there. And then let's add a few of our little embellishments. So let's add, kind of make it look like it's, you know, maybe it's sea, what are they called? The sea rocks. Is that, no, what are they called? Glass rocks. Sea glass. That's it. I knew I'd get to it sooner or later. And we'll add a couple of those. So isn't that pretty? Oh my gosh, I love, you know, I always forget about Melon Mambo, and that's a good way. I'm going to have to do some blending. Now that I see this, guys, we're going to have to do some blending. Do blending with our yellow and Melon Mambo. All right, so we're going to add this to our card base again, to our white, 3 3/4 by 11. And we'll have a slight border on each side. We'll get that on there, pull it up, and move it over just a tad. Isn't that pretty? And then we're going to add that to this piece here. And we have just created our second beautiful beach thinking out of the box from the Paper Pumpkin kit of July. And this is the July, which I didn't say, July of 2023 kit. And then again, you're going to open it this way and put whatever you want inside for your sentiment. Isn't that gorgeous? I love these colors. Okay, one more card. One more card. We've got one more to go. Now we're going to work with Pool Party. Let me get all my pieces out of here. We're going to do a chair. Make sure I got everything. Okay, so let's put that right there. And I need to trim down my basic white. All right, so 3 3/4. Make sure it's lined up at the top and the bottom. This is the best paper trimmer. If you don't have one, I highly recommend that you purchase it. You can get this in my online store. I think it runs, I want to say $30. I don't think it's $25. I think it's $30. You can get there by the link that is going to be below the video. And you can't ask for anything better because the arm opens up to 17 inches. And it also has centimeters at the top if needed, as well as our inches. And every quarter space, it shows a quarter space on the flat board itself. So the lines that come down and go across are every quarter inch. So it makes it really good for lining up stuff. So there's our white. Here's our base that's going to go underneath that. And then here's our piece that we're going to work with to build our scene. All right, now this one, we've taken this sentiment, or this design, with the sun and the palm tree. And again, we're going to place that right about here. Got a glue thing right there. All right, and then we're going to, let's see, we're going to add this piece at the bottom. And I'm trying to think, oh yeah, we're going to put this right down here. And I think I'm going to tuck that under just a little bit. And then our chair will go, make sure which one, I don't think it really matters. We'll put our chair there so it kind of looks like the reflection of the chair, like that. And then we will put our flip-flops over here, right there. And then we're going to stamp and emboss, and then we're going to cut out the words. Add this down here, using my seal. All right, let's get that right about here. Oh, before we do that, good thing I caught myself. We got to do our stars again. Got to do the stars. All right, Versamark. I definitely need to ink this thing up. All right, so we're going to do our starfish. Just give it some fun. And really, there's no right or wrong way of how to stamp these. We just want to kind of give the impression that they're working their way into up the card at an angle. So we're just going to stamp them accordingly. And I'm just inking them up a lot so I can get some nice color in there. All right, and we'll just do a couple more. We'll just do one there and do one about here. Maybe one, yeah, I think that's good. All right, now we can place this down. Okay, all right, now where's my, all right, what'd I do with them? Okay, I'm looking for, oh, here it is. Got put up there because I had the ink already on it. All right, so we're gonna lay this right about here. So now you can see the starfish on the pool party. So we're gonna lay this right here. And then we're gonna come down with this one. And we're gonna lay this right about here. So it looks like with the water, and then we've got the sand with a little bit of white, like the wash coming up from the waves. All right, now we're gonna put down our glue dots again, and these are perfect because these are small. So we'll put these on here. I'm gonna put 3 at the bottom. And then since this is gonna be laying flat, I'm gonna put 1 in the center, or up the center, I should say. And then I'll just do 1 on each side of the last part of the chair, okay? So take that off, take that off, take that. These, the only thing I don't like about these, I don't like these little pieces of paper because you find them all over the place. And they're hard to get off. I mean, they're not hard to get off, they're just, once you take them off, then all of a sudden, see, they go flying. And then next thing you know, you're finding them all over the place. 1 more off and then we're almost done, you guys. See, there's another piece right there. Okay, there we go. So we're gonna place our chair right about here, just slightly off-centered. There we go, that'll work. Okay, there we go. All right, there's that. Now we'll add our sandals, because we've gotta have our flip-flops, right? So we're gonna put those right, I'm gonna put those right over here where the back of the chair is. So I'm gonna lay them right there. And then the next thing we're gonna do, again, we're going to do some embossing, so bear with me. Let me put this at an angle. We're going to put this on the side. Make sure it's going to fit. Yep. Okay, so let's go ahead and get our embossing tray back again. All right, we're almost done. Hang on in there with me. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and put some powder on here. Make sure we rub it in really good, so we don't get those sprinkles, right? All right, put that back in here. And bring in our white emboss. Okay, bring in the Versamark. All right, so we're gonna ink this up. So we're gonna stamp this right about there. And let's dip in here. Try not to touch my lettering. All right, so I've got it under. I'll do it real, oh, there we go, perfect. Tap it off a little. All right, and there I see 1 little black right there. That's fine. And it's okay that it's crooked because we're going to cut that apart. Okay, let's get the heat tool going and turn this thing on. Again, it's going to be loud. All right, so we're going to come underneath first. You can do it either way. Some people do it underneath. I like to do it on top because that way I can see what I'm doing, you know. And you don't want to have, you don't want to stay on one place a long time, so you just want to kind of move it back and forth. You'll see it start to, now you see how you can start to see it. You turn it at a certain angle and all of a sudden there it goes, it's melting. And I like to come back 1 more time, make sure it all is done. Okay, there we go, we got that. All right, so we're going to bring this back in, and what we're going to do is we are going to cut down these words. So let's see. I'm not good at cutting with my scissors and getting a straight line, but I know we're going to cut these and cut these out. So I'm going to cut this first, like that. And I probably should have cut this one first. And let's cut this one. I just want to get it so they're not have all that excess mambo. And we will, all right, there we go. And then we're going to go ahead and cut these. So I'm going to figure out sending an ocean of love. So I'm trying to think how I'm going to do this. Sending, I need to trim down. the sending part. So I'm going to cut that there. All right, so I want to put sending, and that's right on the edge. Well, I could do an ocean. All right, let's do that. Let's cut out sending. All right, we'll put that there. Sending, and then we'll do an ocean, because we have room to do that, right? An ocean. And then this one, we can cut off the end of love. We don't need that much. Sending an ocean of love. How's that? All right, I think that's cute. And I'll put a big one there. And yeah, I probably could do a big one. Let's see how that works. Yep, we could do that. And we'll put one on here. There we go. So we didn't need to use our minis. We'll use the big ones. All right, so let's pop these guys off, and we'll put this card together. We'll be done. Excuse me. And then I'll bring the cards back in so you can see them. Thank you for staying with me. All right, let's see what we got. Now, don't forget, if you're interested in Paper Pumpkin, you can go through my online store. The link will be below in the video. And then you can sign up, and don't forget, you can always cancel at any time if you choose you don't want to. All right, if you don't want to continue with it. Sending an ocean of love. Isn't that cute? Isn't that precious? All right, so we're going to add that on here. And make sure you leave me some comments and your thoughts on these cards. I'd love to hear what you have to say. And as always, I would greatly appreciate it if you would share my videos. And if you're on Facebook, if you haven't already liked my page, please do. And if you're on YouTube, please make sure that you subscribe and click that bell so you'll be notified every time I upload a new video so that you don't miss out on anything. All right, and then we're going to pull this up to the top. We've got that on there. And then we're going to go ahead and add this to our back of our card, to the base. All right, let's see. All right, let's put this right about here. I think that looks good. Let me get this on here. Okay. I'm going to wipe the powder off my paper here. All right, we are done with the cards. Give me just a minute. I'm going to pull them back in so that you can see them. Bear with me 1 second. Let me just get some of the stuff out of the way so I can get to them. Okay, so we have, these are our alternative cards that we made. All right, and aren't these just gorgeous? Don't you just love these? These are the alternative cards. Aren't they beautiful? All right, and then here are the cards that we did that were part of the kit. So these were made exactly how the kit said they should be made. I'm holding them down so that you can see. So the bottom three are done exactly how the kit suggests that they be done. And the top three, with their, and everything has their coordinating envelopes. And then the top three are the alternative cards that we created using the contents of the kit. And the only thing we added was some cardstock. So there you go, everyone. I hope you appreciate these cards and the option of looking at Paper Pumpkin. And you can also do this with our other kits. Now keep in mind, during the month of August, and we've only got a couple weeks left, that most of these kits, now Paper Pumpkin does not apply, but all of our other kits are up to 30% off. So it's a great time to take advantage of our crafting kits. And make sure you read, some are all-inclusive, which means it comes with the ink and the stamp. Some do not come with the ink or the stamp, so you need to make sure that you read the instructions. But Paper Pumpkin is so much fun, and it comes in a nice box that you can carry with you if you're traveling or whatever. So, all right, everybody, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate you spending this time with me. I hope you've enjoyed these cards. Make sure you think out of the box. And if you're interested in joining the Paper Pumpkin subscription, then do a link below and you'll see that in my video. Okay, everyone, thanks again. I greatly appreciate it. Bye now.